Okay, if you've completed the 9-3 homework, let's start going over the answers. Number 20 has a center at 4, -3 with a radius of 8. 21 has a center at -2, 0 with a radius of radical 13. Please don't approximate that. 22 has a center of -5, -11. And the radius is radical 32. Now that breaks down into 16 times 2. So 4 radical 2 is the simplified answer. 23 has the center of 8, 12. The radius of radical 96. That is 16 times 6, so it breaks down into 4 radical 6. Now if we look at those, remember that your radius always comes from the square root of this end term, because this end term is r squared. And then your center is x minus h and y minus k. So if it's already a negative, you just keep the number like 4. If it's positive, that would be like a y minus -3, so it's -3. So that center is 4, -3, and the radius is 8. Okay, for the next two, you need to know what the center point is and then another really good point. So for number 24, I'm going to use the center, which is -1, -2. And then I have to pick another point. This point 0, 0 is probably the easiest. There's no reason that I could not use 0, -4. or -2, -4, any of those that have a nice answer. But let's stick with the 0, 0. So now the radius is that distance. So let's apply the distance formula. -1 minus 0 squared and -2 minus 0 squared. That's going to be 1 plus 4 or the square root of 5. So now the equation is the x minus -1 squared plus the y minus -2 squared, and then the radical 5 is the radius, and when you square it, you just get a 5. All right, so 25, you can see that the center is 1, 0. And a good point to use, that's a fractional point, that's not good, but this one is 2, 1, or 0, 1, or 0, -1, or 2, -1. I'm liking this 0, 1, so I think that's the one I'm going to use. Okay, so now let's apply the distance formula. So 1 minus 0 squared, and then 0 minus 1 squared. Either way, you're going to get 1 plus 1. So the radius is going to be the square root of 2. Okay, remembering that this is the center, you have x minus 1 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals radical 2 squared, which is just 2. So that's a perfectly acceptable answer, but you could simplify this just to y squared. So that was 24 and 25. The next group, it gave you the radius in the center. So x minus 5 squared plus y minus 1 squared equals 4 squared, or 16. 27, x minus -3, which turns into x plus 3 squared, plus y minus 8 squared equals 9 squared, which is 81. 28, x minus 2 squared plus y minus -4, which turns into plus 4 squared. And then the radius on this one was 5 radical 5. So of course when you square it, you multiply it by itself, and you have 25 radical 25, or 25 times 5, 125. And then the last one, x minus -5 is x plus 5 squared, and then minus -9 turns into y plus 9 squared. And then the radius was radical 13. So, of course, when you square it, you're just going to get 13. If you're having any problems with these, please reach out to me. I can probably explain it to you on the phone real quick if you're having any difficulties.